stuff was short.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, it's 1:45 now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So pretty much we act as if we're live when we're taping the show because I've been doing the editing on it, and it is just so much easier because what we don't do is say, "Oh, we'll redo that." No, it's live, and live's more fun anyway.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You're on your game. So,
You ready?
are we ready to
Are
mic
we
check?
live? Okay.
Do we want a mic check? Yes.
Yeah, let's
we
do mic check. You're listening to WNTW 92.7 FM, 820 AM. Good? Go ahead.
You're listening to Patrick McFadden, owner of Indispensable Marketing.
Hey, test.
Oh, that's a bit different.
Because I don't fit in.
All right, so we're on Facebook Live.
Yes. Hello,
So-
Facebook.
Okay. So what's been going on? Donna, you're the MC for the pre-show.
Can I share first?
Well, then share first.
Trying to.
Don't let me hold you up.
Because I won't do it.
That's a just in case.
I'll
All
share.
It's
right.
good
later.
on the back of the throat.
All right.
I'll share later. It'll be fine. So, first of all, to the Facebook folks, this is my friend Patrick McFadden, which you've already heard, Indispensable Marketing. He is indispensable. I've worked with Patrick now. We've known each other a couple of years.
Yeah.
Like,
Probably 3, 4.
yeah.
Time flies.
Way back. And he always impresses me with his thinking. That's why I hired you, because I'm a coach and you coached as we went through this. So that was really super impressive. But pre-show.
Pre-show. Okay. So
I have notes.
you want to talk about what we've been doing up till now and what's going to happen today on the show?
Yes. So the meetup, we did a meetup last week. We're in a meetup group, BizSource RVA. Meetup is an app. They like you to meet in person, but now that people aren't meeting in person, they're letting us do online meetings. So we did a brainstorming session on Friday night
Okay.
with small business owners, independent professionals. Had about 10 people?
About 10 people, and dealing with the fear that everybody's got right now about the virus, and they can't do this and they can't do that. And what's happening is a lot of people are allowing the fear to incapacitate them, as opposed to going, gee, all that's going on presents some great opportunities. So one of the people there, I think, found a new business model last
That's
Friday
right.
night. I'm pretty sure. Now, she didn't follow up. She didn't. So, but she did what we collectively recommended in our brainstorming session. More than likely, she took care of her cash flow for the next couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that was a neat thing. And then the group that was there said, hey, we'd like to continue to do this. So Bill and I will be meeting on Zoom every Friday night at 7 p.m. for any business owner, independent professional that wants to come and get into what Napoleon Hill is the one that coined the phrase mastermind. And he said, wherever two or more minds come together, it builds this bigger mastermind. So it multiplies. It's not just two minds anymore. And it's an opportunity to say, I've been thinking about this. What do you guys think? Or I'm just totally stuck. I have no idea what to do, which is where a lot of people are right now. So that's on Meetup. Friday night.
Friday
7 p.m.
night. And by the way, everything we talk about, we'll put the link into the show notes.
Yeah. And I say Meetup because that's where our group is. But I've got an event right here on Facebook for the brainstorming session that'll take you to Zoom. So we're not actually meeting in Meetup. Let's not get confused there. We're meeting in Zoom. We're meeting in Zoom, and the links are there on our Facebook events.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one. And that group has gone dormant over the last couple of months, maybe last year, because Meetup at one time was hot.
Yeah, it was.
And everybody was doing it. And then, as always happens, suddenly it wasn't hot. Nobody was doing it. And so it was Donna's idea going, hey, we've got this vehicle, this platform. Why don't we get it cranking?
It was an orphan group, and it sounded like it really fit our business model.
Oh.
So we took over as organizers, and now we're trying to shake the tree up a little bit and say, hey, come on, guys. Don't wait for the dust to settle. The time to take action is now. Now. Right, Patrick?
I agree. Now is the time to take action.
Yes. Yes.
And of course, as Brian, the station manager, would say, this is not your father's radio station. This is not your father's meetup group either. This is real different.
Mm-hmm.
So So we're taking a different direction. So let's talk about the next thing we're doing.
The
And that
7.
is, yeah, the 7.
Mm-hmm.
Is I like the Magnificent Seven, with Yul Brynner
Don't
and
go there.
James
It's too
Colburn.
old.
That's a great movie. Come on.
So we're doing
Steve McQueen. Come on.
We're doing a series of 7 webinars,
Okay.
30 minutes each on every Monday and Wednesday, starting this Monday, the 13th, again on Zoom. And it's really based on the idea, I think, came from that Nassim Taleb Anti-Fragile
Yeah.
book.
And by the way, there's a great, if you want to get a handle on this guy, I'm not going to get into all the details. We covered it, and we're not going to do it in the show. Go to the website Zero Hedge, and I believe it's probably on the second page. This guy's a hedge fund manager. Now, he's a mathematician who works in risk management, and he has this theory about fragile versus anti-fragile and what happens. Anti-fragile companies prosper during moments like this. Fragile companies go away. And his advice about how to deal in the how to be anti-fragile and benefit from that, the fund that he consults to, his fund made 3,060%, 600% in the month of March.
Wow.
Off the virus.
Yeah, he's a mathematician.
Yeah, so
He's a magician.
See, me, I don't go by when people write a book. I love, for example, I love Seth Godin. I think his stuff is great, but Seth has made a lot of money selling Seth stuff. Taleb he's made a lot of money advising other people, and you got real evidence that he must know what he's talking about, because a lot of people have made a lot of money.
Yeah.
And the last time he did this was during the 2007, 2008 economic downturn, and all of his accounts made thousands of percents of dollars. His stuff doesn't work unless you're in something like today.
I think you bring up a great point, though, which is there's multiple ways to make a living. All right, Seth Godin doesn't do any consultations or consulting. He writes books, spreads ideas, and makes a living, where that gentleman does the hands-on practical application and makes a living.
and that's not in any way to say that Seth Godin's not a good guy or he's not doing good stuff. That has nothing to do with it. It's a matter of where I've got to in my life is I know a lot of the people in the industry who write books who are like Seth Godin.
Yep.
And I've been in their operations. And it's one of those, ask yourself when you talk to one of those people, what if the public who bought their books or went to their seminars walked around their company, what would they think? And most of those people, they wouldn't dare have a customer walk around their company because they're like, oh, we don't do any of that stuff. We just write books.
It reminds me of you have the practicing attorney.
Yeah.
And the still attorney, but non-practicing attorney.
Yeah. What is a non-practicing attorney?
And I've seen both too. It reminds me of that, though, where you can have practicing or non-practicing. Some prefer to get their hands dirty and be that practitioner.
Yeah.
And some prefer to observe, sort of like Malcolm Gladwell.
In music, we had a saying that those who could did and those who couldn't taught.
Yep. Oh, that's you got the same thing in consulting.
Yeah.
If you can't do consult, if you can't consult, teach. Something like that. So anyway, Taleb is a pretty good guy.
And so circling back to this webinar series, also on Zoom for small business owners and independent professionals, and there's going to be a consulting/teaching piece to it. And
What I did is I read a lot of people, and I've self-taught in economics. And my degrees.
And you've done a little bit of consulting.
40 years. I've done a little, but I've taught myself economics, and so I don't have a formal education in econ. But one of the things that struck me was that how does a business owner read the economy, whether we're talking about reading where it is or reading what's about to happen, and then make business decisions? And so what this series is about is that if I know where the economy is, and it's not hard to tell, then I can say a couple things. One is, what should I be doing today with my business? And then what's going to happen next? Mm-hmm. And so we go back to the anti-fragile Taleb's approach, is that some of the best companies have been built and grown during these periods because they grow up lean and mean and frugal.
Yep.
And if you're growing a business, starting a business and growing it when the economy's taken off, anybody can do that.
Right.
I mean, you can make stupid decisions and it's still going to work out.
Yeah.
Now, you got to be pretty bright.
Yeah.
You got to think out of the box smartly.
Yes, you do. You gotta really assess what's going on, and instead of being reactionary, you have to be more priority. Like, okay, what do people actually want right now? What are they
Yeah.
actually buying? I mean, I'll never forget watching that show, The Billionaire Who Slept in His Car.
Oh, yeah.
And the greatest thing he taught me from watching that show was he went to Craigslist because he's like, I'm tired of sleeping in my car. And he's like, I'm going to Craigslist. Oh, they'll buy 4 sets or a set of tires for $1,500. That's enough for me to get a hotel room. So they told him what they wanted. He went and got it and gave it to him, and it was able to exact money value. And so today people are telling you what they want.
That's right.
Groceries delivery, less touch, distance servicing. How do you structure your company to deliver that is where I think the secret is.
And that's exactly where we're going to go with this. Is that, when we start the show, which is going to be shortly, is that we're going to get in that conversation. And we did a little bit of that last Friday on Meetup, and we're going to do more of that tomorrow night. But really, that's the conversation that we need to have, is that you can't get caught up in what you can and can't do. You can't get caught up in what your customers are buying and not buying. There are opportunities to at least stay in business right now, and we're going to cover those.
Absolutely.
We can't tell you what to do, but we'll give you the thought process where you can attack your own business.
Map maker, show you the map. You got to go be the hunter.
Okay. All right. So anything else we want to cover before we go live?
Well, you had said about the...
Yes. Let me talk a little bit about the radio station that we're building. We're building an internet-based radio station, and we're going to use that as a platform to buy terrestrial stations like this one. So we were going to do the opposite, but events changed on us, so now we're going to go in the opposite direction. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be offering 24/7 business programming, all directed at independent contractors, entrepreneurs, small business owners, and it's going to be 6 swim lanes. So think of a pool. We're going to have topics around strategy, topics around sales, which will include marketing, around production. So whether you make something, you deliver services, there's going to be a swim lane around people. And how do you bring in people, and how do you develop them? There's going to be a swim lane around how do you transform yourself, because most business owners are just glorified techs. So how do I start thinking like an executive? And then the last swim lane is going to be the interesting one, is, so what if you wanted to start a consulting business? Doesn't matter what you're going to consult in.
Yeah.
What if you wanted to sell expertise? And of course we could say, turn it into a training company or a coaching company, because to me, I see no difference between the three. They're all delivery techniques. If I deal with you one-on-one, I'm coaching. If I'm dealing with your executive staff or your managers, I'm consulting. If I put 20 butts in the classroom, I'm training. Same kernel of knowledge. I'm just presenting it a little bit. I'm just delivering it a little bit different. And so that's what we're doing with the radio station, is that we are going to combine a radio station with a training consulting company, a coaching company, and we are going to act like how the chambers ought to act. Think about what chambers of commerce don't do, and who do they don't serve. The chambers should be the people in the forefront of what small businesses, what their members need right now. What are they doing? Sitting on the sidelines.
Getting some emails out there. There's some things happening.
I have too. But
I got friends in the chamber.
I know almost all of the presidents of the local chambers around here. The deal is, I don't see any aggressive, proactive stuff going on from any of them that would say, what's the role of a chamber of commerce? And I think, that's a long conversation we need to have now. What I'm saying is that we're taking 3 business models: chamber of commerce, radio station, consulting, training, and coaching company, and creating a new business model. And that's where we're going with this. I'll have more to say about it. Look on the show notes.
And it's just about ready for soft launch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm about 2 weeks behind because things happen.
I mean, y'all been in the lab working.
Well, and that's the whole thing, Patrick, because I'm hearing a lot of people saying, well, I'm waiting for the dust to settle. If I hear that one more time, oh my goodness.
So I'm a believer in you go happen to the thing. Don't let the thing happen to you.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one.
Because you'll get in trouble and it just happened to me. No, nothing happens to you.
No. So we're gonna get ready to go live, Patrick. If you see on the door here, ABCD at the bottom right hand corner, we're gonna go 17 minutes. Short
Okay.
break, 8 minutes. That's where your first question is gonna come up. We'll talk 8 minutes. Short break, 10 minutes is still you. Short break, and then the last 18 is gonna be what can the business owners, what can our listeners do like right now to go move forward.
And the reason it's like that because we have when we run the show on Saturday and Sunday, there are breaks that are inserted in.
I'll let y'all control the break times and all that.
Yes.
We got it.
I'll just bring my content.
And
that's why we got you here.
You don't have to wear the headset, but most people find it's easier to moderate their voice.
Hey, Patrick, could you talk just a little louder?
Okay. I'll get closer.
Yeah, that's good.
All
right.
right.
And if you need to bring them up a little bit.
He's potted all the way up.
Okay, good. Good
all
to
right.
know. And I'll look for the distortion when I edit this tomorrow. But people find that if they got the headphones on, they can moderate their voice better.
Okay.
Okay. So are we ready?
Testing. Oh, okay. All right. I can hear.
You can hear? Is
Yep.
it too loud? Because I can adjust over here.
That's good.
How is this sound? Is it too loud for you to hear?
No.
You good?
That's fine.
Okay.
Hmm.
Well, what's the matter?
There's a cord there on the floor.
Oh, no, I just had it taped up. All right. No, it's just pulling on my headset.
Oh, the tape is on the floor.
Don't worry
Are you
about it.
connected? Because it's not looking connected.
No, I'm connected. It's a different issue. I thought I solved it. We had stuff laying around, so I just taped it up.
Okay.
All right. Are we ready?
Yes.
3, 2, 1. You're listening to Sales 2020, everything a business owner needs to generate more and better revenue, when that means better customers with better margins. This is show and podcast number 18 in our series on sales, and we are proud to partner with WNTW 92.7 FM, 820 AM out of Chester, Virginia, serving all of Central Virginia, all the way north to Ashland, down south to Roanoke, Rabbit, North Carolina, from Amelia Courthouse in the west, all the way to Tidewater, Williamsburg on the east, and on a good day in Virginia Beach. I'm William Eastman, and I have the Deck and Con. I'm the co-host for today's show, and with me is my other co-host, the real star of the show, Donna Kunde.
Hey.
Okay?
Yes.
That's it? That's all you got to say?
That's all. I'm a few words. I'll have more words later.
Okay.
It's good to be here, though.
Okay. It's good that we're here, and notice that we're not afraid of the virus. So, because we could have dialed this in, we're not doing that. Also with us in the studio, we're really lucky because we got another brave soul, but I think he's got his head firmly screwed on about what's really going on here, and that's Patrick McFadden from Indispensable Marketing. By the way, if you're listening to us live, that means we're on Facebook today, and it's Thursday at 2:03 in the afternoon. If you're not hearing us live, then it's Saturday at 10 o'clock in the morning or Sunday at 4 in the afternoon on WNTW 92.7 FM. Donna, how can people join us on Facebook and catch this live presentation?
Yes. So if you're listening to us on the radio, you want to head on over to Facebook at 2020 Sales Solutions. 2020 Sales Solutions on Facebook, and you will see all the events that we're doing. You can interact with Bill and I live. You can catch these rebroadcasts, or you can catch us live every Thursday at 2 p.m.
Okay. All righty. So what do we got planned for today? What's our agenda?
Today, well, with the help of our special guest, Patrick McFadden from Indispensable Marketing, we're going to be talking about some serious strategies that business owners and independent professionals can implement right now. Right, Patrick? Right now.
Now.
Not later. To get a head start on their third quarter sales and start generating that much needed revenue that we hear all the business owners are needing right now. It's going to be a great show.
It is.
It's going to be a great show.
And Patrick's got a reputation for being totally out of the box.
Yes.
Which is right now is what we need.
Yes. So you're going to want to grab a pen, get some paper unless you're driving, and just take some notes as we jump into third quarter marketing strategy. Welcome to the show, Patrick.
Welcome. Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Yes. So, Bill, before we jump into the specifics on selling strategies, why don't you set us up with what opportunities that business owners have to sell in the third quarter?
Okay, so let me do this, and this is something we do at someplace in the quarter before. and this has to do with what are some of the natural holidays. Like if you think about it, this is pretty much self-evident if it's you're right before Halloween, and you think about it, you got okay. As soon as Halloween's over, what are we doing? We're getting ready for Thanksgiving, and so what are you doing in your business to make Thanksgiving work for you? And of course, in November we had like 5 holidays, and then you get into December, you've got another 5 holidays. I mean, you've got, if nothing else, three fairly significant days. You got Hanukkah, you got Christmas, and you got Kwanzaa.
But that's not third quarter, Bill.
Right. So we started this saying that most people in business get it when it comes to those days.
Yes.
But what they don't get is this is true all year. And if you think about it, is what is coming up in the third quarter that you may want to attend to in your business. And so what we're going to do here in the third quarter, which for those people out there that are not paying attention to business in terms of you got it structured around the quarter, is what's coming up in July. And so, for example, and this link's going to be up on our show notes, holidayinsights.com. So let's take a look at what's going on in July. All right. So I don't know how many of these holidays fit you, but let's look at July. And I'll just go through the first week because I'm just not going to detail every one of them. So, for example, July 1st is Canada Day, or also known as Dominion Day. You do business in Canada, you got any Canadian clients? Something to consider. You got Creative Ice Cream Flavor Day. You got International Chicken Wing Day. You have International Joke Day. You have the National Postal Worker Day, all on the 1st of July. On the 2nd, you got I Forgot Day. And Donna got me with that this morning because she said, what's the 2nd of July? And I said, I don't know. And she said, you're right.
Forgot.
Even better. I mean, as a business owner, I'm going to sell against this one. World UFO Day.
I'm going to go with National Anti-Boredom Month. I'm going to go with the whole month here after people are done being holed up for the last, I don't know how long, you know. You know what, Patrick, on my website, I've got an assessment still up there for relationships and I've maybe got, 3-5 hits in the last 3 or 5 years. I got 5 hits in one day.
Wow.
Yeah. People are ready to go and do things.
So you've got National Anti-Boredom Month for July.
That's what I'm saying.
Now, all I'm saying to you is, I don't know how many of these apply to your business, but if you're creative as a marketing advertising person, these give you great opportunities to sell against. And that's the way you want to look at it, to go, what has naturally happened? Obviously, we know we got the 4th of July.
Mm-hmm. They got one for you here, Bill.
Which one is that?
July 3rd, Disobedience Day.
That's me. That's me. Yeah, I got to look at that. Compliment your Mother Day. Oh, mirror. Oh, no. Compliment your mirror. Okay.
What?
That should be called Narcissist Day.
I suppose.
We have Disobedience Day. We have Eat Beans Day. So this also should be the next day. July 4th should be your Alone Day.
Well, July 11th is Cheer Up the Lonely Day.
Stay out of the Sunday on the 3rd. So again, some of these are, we're having a little fun, tongue in cheek. But the bottom line is
Pandemonium Day, July 14th.
All of these are there for you to take advantage of and use, because if you look at the ad, I mean, Patrick, I'll lead this and then I'll let you jump in. If you've got, let's see here, Sidewalk Egg Frying Day on the July 4th. And you run something related to food service or catering, how could you have fun with that to generate traffic to your website?
I think literally you would just probably go on a sidewalk, set up cameras. I would actually make a spectacle of it, set it up as like an arena or something. Maybe you have a frag egg sidewalk competition.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Brown eggs versus white eggs. Which one fries faster? Big eggs versus little eggs. Organic eggs versus, I don't know.
Green eggs and
Farm
ham.
Factory.
Green eggs and ham.
I'm going to go green eggs and ham. Get Dr. Seuss out
again,
there.
when you're marketing, whether you call it advertising or not, you're trying to attract attention. Yeah. And an ad like that, somebody's going, sidewalk egg frying day?
And imagine like trying to build up the farmers markets again.
Yeah.
And doing a competition like that.
So it's funny. All these hilarious and different ideas for holidays got me thinking about in the restaurant industry. Some people promote it's called their most famous burger, while some says their most selling burger. And it's a difference. Famous,
Yep.
it could be ridiculous. It could be like it's stacked with ham, turkey, bacon, triple stack coleslaw, like, and it's famous because of that. But it doesn't mean it's the best
Best selling.
seller.
But
Yeah.
isn't that a great point as we're on a sales show that the business owner has the idea of what is going to sell? Because it's so near and dear to my heart. Everybody's going to love this. But we really, especially now, need to be listening to what our customers want to buy.
Oh yeah, 100%. If you want to stay in business, you have to stay in tune with your customers. That's the only way you find out what your customers want and you deliver it in the manner that they want it, because they have choices.
And you got to cut through all the noise because everybody out there is clamoring for it. When we put a new website together for the radio station, you know what it almost was? This is the URL that the station manager wanted. Don't listen to this station.
Creating
one more off this. I want to see who wants this one. On the 8th of July, it's Body Painting Day.
It's a lot of businesses that could benefit from that.
So you're my marketing and advertising guy. What would you do for me?
Body Paint Day.
Yeah.
I think there's more value in getting couples to do that, so you can basically generate the revenue of two people than one. And
awesome.
most people pay a premium for emotional things than if you were just to create a product or something. That's what I would do. I would try to get that wedding type atmosphere and then create that type of ambiance or something.
Yeah. So then what you would do is that, how would I promote that? What are some ideas that you have about promoting that to get people to go, wow, we could have some fun with it?
So I have an approach to marketing that starts with strategy before tactics. And what that essentially means is that you have an ideal customer in mind. So there's the target market, but within that target market is an ideal customer. And so you would look at what's the ideal customer for this body paint event that we want to throw. And you would say, where do they hang out? Where is their attention? What places do they get information from? How would they vet this particular event here? Who influences them to make decisions? And then I would choose those channels to promote that.
Wait, as you're talking, it kind of just reminds me of those color runs that they have. Have you heard of those?
No, what?
Where they throw colors on you and then you go and run.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty bizarre.
It's probably more eloquent the way they do it, but
yeah,
you know what I'm talking about? The color runs.
Yep.
Yeah, they do them in RVA.
Oh, I haven't seen one. Well, the bottom line here is that if you look at the next quarter coming, look at any quarter, but we're in the second. We're talking about the third because you want to get ready. You don't want to do this overnight because a lot of things you got to do. There are so many here that present themselves as either a smart day because the fourth gives you a lot of opportunities. Everybody knows about it. On the other hand, some of these are bizarre. And what a great marketing opportunity, because first thing is most people don't know. I mean, I didn't know there was a National Body Painting Day.
No, of course
or
not.
a National Boredom Day or National Fried. Oh, there's not only a fried chicken wing day, there's a fried chicken day. And so how do I take advantage of, or on the 6th, International Kissing Day, and hopefully COVID's gone and we're going to be back doing this.
You can take your houseplants for a walk day on July 27th.
Wow.
So
imagine organizing that.
just the fact that you could promote that and get somebody, because all you need is somebody to look at the byline, or if it's an email at the subject line going, what?
Yes.
Yeah.
And now they're reading the body of it and you've won the first part of the battle.
Yep.
There's so much of that stuff you don't even look at.
Yeah. And speaking about the battle, I think people need to be aware the gap between attention and trust. So I could run out in the street with no clothes on and get attention, but does that also earn me trust to do business with me? No.
Well, it depends on what your business is.
Well, yeah. That's not the trust. That's not the attention I want.
I don't blame you, but I got you there. So anyway, those days are there. I'd heartily recommend you go through the list and at least pick one a week.
Hmm.
because you could run. When you run a campaign, you put together a campaign. I mean,
I just think people are going to be looking forward to something different at this point. We're in this same old of it's another day stuck in the house. It's another day of what's in COVID. It's another day of this, right?
Yeah, the great news is everybody's on their phone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you should, at this point in time, you should never stop marketing, especially digitally, because I mean, I'm on LinkedIn and I'm seeing people who have never been on LinkedIn now get active on LinkedIn. So that shows me that everybody is coming out to say, you know what, I have this extra time. Let me hop on this social network and see, either for informational reasons or entertainment reasons, or to check on their friends or family, but people are logging online, researching answers, information. It's funny now, if you noticed, every banking financial institution sends you an email on that that payroll.
yep.
So,
I've had 3 in the last
Yeah.
week.
yeah. So it's funny, right? Everybody wants to be the informational go-to for this. I'm just fascinated by everybody's trying to hop on and provide information.
But you still got to differentiate, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you don't stand out, I mean, if you don't give a person a reason to listen to you or to want to do business with you, then you're just like everybody else, the sea of sameness.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and we're all competing for people's attention because everybody's overwhelmed right now. And how do you tell the noise from the message?
Right. And how many people are going to come out with a Labor Day, Independence Day special?
Absolutely,
And
and especially with now everybody kind of cranked up. I mean, I think the funnier or the
Mhm.
more out of the box or the more tongue in
Yes.
cheek
Yes.
you are with your offer, the better this is going to go because people are going to go like, "Wow, you get their attention." Now you got to do your work as a marketer. I got their attention. Now what? Like you running out in the street naked. I got their attention. Now what?
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I didn't come up with the example.
Well, yeah, don't do that. But it is national. What did that? There was one of them. National. Oh, Nude Recreation Week is week 2 of July.
Nude recreational week.
That's what it says.
I mean, I think almost any business could find something to at least draw attention with that.
Depending on the business.
Well, think about it. I run a retail store and it's National Nude
And
Week,
so
but you got to wear clothes to come here. You got to, or
Okay, all right.
and Donna was killing me on this because Corona stopped making beer.
Yeah, I saw that.
Idiots, absolute idiots. Because I had the solution. You got a guy in a
No,
smock, a
no,
doctor with
no.
a stethoscope around.
Mm.
He's
Not
got
this-
4 or 5 bottles laying around on the table, and he goes, "I will guarantee, like they say in New Orleans, that you will not get Corona from drinking Corona beer." I think
Just say no, Patrick. Just
Yeah.
say no.
that would have been my commercial. I would have been like, "Yeah."
That's like what do you say? All press is good press. That's not true.
Thank you, Patrick.
Okay. All right. So we're coming up on a break here. So what we're going to do when we come back is now that we've gone through some of the things that you can look at for the third quarter, now we're going to get into the meat of the topic. And what we're going to be talking about is what does marketing look like in this environment and how do you get out of the box and do things in a non-traditional fashion. So with that, you've been listening to WNTW 92.7 FM, 820 AM, the voice of Central Virginia, and we will be right back.
Now we just break in place.
Now we take a break and we talk for a minute and we start up again. Good.
Those holidays, I always laugh at them because the commercial intent behind them is so real.
Mm-hmm.
I did my history on where holidays come from.
Okay.
I mean, do you know there was no such thing as back to school clothes? They made that up to sell clothes.
There was no thing as Mother's Day and Father's Day either. That was Hallmark.
That was crazy to me when I found that out. I was like,
Mhm.
really? There was no such thing when I grew up. You wear the same clothes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I said, they created this whole thing of back to school clothes just to sell clothes.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
That's crazy.
And look at what the government did. Then you had the tax
then
day.
then the tax benefit of it. Yeah, so it's
Mhm.
I am fascinated by the commercial intent behind
Mother's Day and Father's Day, where do they come from? Hallmark
That's what I
Yep.
just said. Yeah.
cards. Oh, I didn't hear that. I was looking at all my stuff.
I'm fascinated by all of that. Just
Well, they get Congress to pass an act. This starts with somebody introducing, some special interest, getting a congressman or senator to introduce. We're going to call it National Nude Day.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now it is, and it's on the record.
Yep. So somebody, yeah. Is this still Facebook Live on?
Yeah.
Okay. So they can hear us?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. That's pretty neat.
That's the behind the scenes part. So you get the uncut version when you come to Facebook.
When we put this on the air, this conversation won't be on the air. I'll chop this out.
Oh, okay. That's pretty neat.
Just kind of a little something extra that we want to do.
Yeah.
And plus, and then the pre-show is just because we're building.
Yeah.
We want to just share what we're doing, that maybe it'll inspire others or not.
Okay. So what we're going to do here in a second is I'll come back and I'll do the lead in. Right now we're running a commercial.
Yep.
This is Saturday. You listen to the commercial. It's about 50 seconds, so it's a minute. When we come back, I'll bring us back in. And by the way, and I'm adding music to it. And then I'll do my spiel, and then I'll turn it to Donna, and then it's
Then I'm
chance
going
for you
to
to-
introduce you with your bio you sent me.
yeah.
And we'll go into question 1.
That's fine.
And you can now control it. And what we'll do is we'll break it. We'll break in 8 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll come back and we'll go another 10, and then the last 18, we'll just kind of mix it up.
If y'all, during my talks, if you hear something that you think you want to add additional, or you think another question would be great for the audience, by all means.
Oh, we will. We'll counterpunch. But now you're running the fight now.
All right.
It's your show. No pressure.
Ready?
Yes.
Well, last time I caught you off guard.
Because
Like you went, huh?
you never do that.
3, 2, 1. We're back. You're listening to Sales 2020, everything a business owner needs to know and do to generate more and better revenue. The show and podcast is number 18, heard every Saturday at 10 a.m. and Sunday at 4 p.m. on WNTW 92.7 FM, 820 AM, the voice of Central Virginia. And go to our website, which we did not talk about before the break.
That's right.
And that is 2020 sales.solutions, 2020 sales.solutions. And when you get there, you look at the navigation bar at the top, you'll see tools, click it, and you'll see show notes, which is everything that we're covering on the show, so that unless you're in your car and you can't do that right now,
Plus links.
you can download that and the tools. Also, you'll find in the tools section all of our podcasts. So all the podcasts here that we've been doing this season, including this one, because I'll put this up by Saturday. You'll have that podcast you can download. We also have an archive of all of the shows, plus the shows that we've been doing when we were doing the Solutions on Demand radio show, as well as when we were doing Living on Your Terms. So you have access to about 150 podcasts, all related to running your business. So with that, let's turn over to our guest, our person of honor today.
Yes.
So Donna,
okay.
talk a little bit about.
Well, we got to know Patrick a little bit before the break, but let me tell you a little bit more about him. Patrick McFadden is a small business marketing consultant known for his practical and process approach to marketing. In 2012, he founded Indispensable Marketing, a small business marketing consulting firm, changing the way that businesses develop and do marketing. And I totally see that in you, Patrick. He has been named a small business thought leader by the American Express Open Forum, and his advice to entrepreneurs has been featured in Inc. magazine and small business development centers, and you can always find his thoughts, ideas, and advice for free on LinkedIn. So, Patrick, it is great to have you on our show.
I'm excited to be here.
Yeah.
2020 Sales Solutions.
2020 for the year, and then after that, it'll be eyesight.
Because it's gonna go. You got to have that 2020 vision, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, Patrick, tell me, we were talking over the break here. We've been doing a bunch of talking about ways to get outside of the box. But what do business owners need to know for the third quarter selling that is totally different than, say, last year's third quarter?
Yeah, I know right now it's crazy times, but that calls for less reaction decisions and more precision decisions, right? Strategic decisions.
What do you mean by that?
Right now is the time to hustle. It's the time to look at the delivery of your services. It's the time to partner with businesses that you may not have thought of. It's time to stop ignoring maybe the marketing things and the sales things that you had got so busy with your business that you ignored all those gaps. And now,
Like what kind of the marketing sales things? What would you?
I mean, I see from online presences. So
Okay.
right now, everybody's on their phone. They're on the internet. Period. Just say
Mhm.
the internet, wherever they access it from, and they are looking for providers. They're looking for solutions. They're looking for answers. They're doing research, and if you don't show up, you don't get a chance to earn that business.
That's right, because they're not going to get that foot traffic right now.
Absolutely. And so right now, it's time to make sure you have a way to capture somebody's email address or information, because the more you can capture that information, the less advertising you have to do in a way. And let me say that way. Or you have the ability to reach your customers when you need to by sending an email or a message with permission that they've
Mhm.
given you, versus you may post it to Facebook or some social media channel, and if they're not on it at that time, they don't actually get it. They
Yeah.
miss the message.
Yeah, our guests that are coming on in 2 weeks, we're going to be talking about email marketing, and they said they own a restaurant franchise, and they said it was their email list that saved their business.
I believe it. Email is king, because that's an asset you own. It's actually an asset you can sell. It's an asset you can have an email list and put advertising in your email newsletter, advertising offers.
Mhm.
So it's such an opportunity, a tool you can use in a variety of ways. But yeah, I think right now is the time you just need to have more precision around what are the ways you need to develop your services. And moving forward, it's really going to be virtual interactions, right? So you need to examine your billing. Does your billing happen through mail, or does your billing happen through virtual? Can you accept payments online? What happens if the mail slows down and you're missing your payments for
Oh.
2 weeks? Do you offer the ability to pay online? What about your follow up, your sales processes? Do you need to facilitate the presentation now as a webinar because you can't go in person? From a marketing standpoint, do you need to put on demonstration videos or create PDF documents and make them available on your website? So everything is looking more digital, less physical interaction, and you have to examine all the touches in your business, from finance to marketing to sales, to really say, what interactions can we still deliver the value but make it virtual or remote in a sense?
Mhm. So
Okay.
if you had a crystal ball, Patrick, how long do you think this digital is going to last past us getting back to?
Oh, I mean, I think this is shifting clients and consumers' behavior. So once, I mean, this has been long enough where I think behaviors are going to change. And
Mhm.
so, man, I was listening the other day. Some companies are fat right now, right? They got too much overhead. The lease of the building is 60,000 a year. They got a staff of 50 when they could be operating from a staff of 15. Doesn't mean there's going to be less jobs. Those people will retool and reset and find something else to do. But I think this is going to be permanent. I think some businesses aren't going to come back. Unfortunately, it's been too long. But this is the time, I think, to retool, to reset, and to look at your delivery of your services. In my opinion,
Where would you start if small business owners out there? We got about between 20 and 30,000 people in the audience on Saturday. So they're sitting there listening and saying, okay, I'm with you. Where do I start? What's your recommendation?
I think you examine internal first. So, what are your current assets? Do you have people in trucks? Could you get into the delivery business in some shape or form? Do you have a lot? Are you front heavy on admin? Could those admin be facilitating virtual meetings or setting up the process to facilitate the virtual sales meeting or presentation? I think you have to assess where you are internally and then assess your customers. What's on your customer's mind at the moment? I've seen pharmacists start making sanitizers, sanitation.
Mhm.
Yes,
Yeah.
Hand,
sanitizers.
the hand san- like
Yeah,
the breweries are doing.
right.
Yeah,
So
like breweries, because they're all in the chemical engineering business, process engineering. So it doesn't matter what you're making.
correct.
It's does the machinery make it, and do we know
Yeah.
how to manage it?
Find a need and fill the need.
Now that's manufacturing, right? So
Yeah.
let's take it to B2B, a service-based
Right.
business. We have a client right now that's an IT firm that has the delivery model of end to end, which means they will come in, look at the requirements, build out the requirements, help you purchase the software and the technology, and then install all of that as a complete IT system. Well, because they have the ability to vet products, purchases, bring it in house, provide it to their customer, they are now securing mask.
Mm.
that they actually deal with medical practices. So
Right.
they just said, tell us what you need. We need masks. So they went out, partnered with a vendor, and now they're securing masks with their end-to-end model the same way they would do just technology.
Because their competence was not just IT, which is and when you look at your business, it's just not what you do. It is the processes that you have to put into place and the people you got working there. What else could they be good at that wouldn't be challenging the company? You wouldn't be making promises you can't meet.
Absolutely. And so that internal introspection to determine what externally you need to be doing is the key.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to take a break. We got the news at the bottom of the hour, and then when we come back, Patrick, we're going to take this a step further. So you've been listening to WNTW. I was thinking about my own radio station there, WNTW 92.7 FM, 820 AM, the voice of Central Virginia, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
Good.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, I just see the shift. People are shifting. What do you need as our client, as our core customer?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then they're saying, let us figure out how we can provide that, secure that either product offering or change up our delivery model. I mean, that's the best name in the game. People still have needs. Can you assess your infrastructure of how you can provide that need?
That's we're doing a brainstorming session tomorrow night on Meetup, and that's exactly the two questions we're going to ask, because the answer is someplace between what are you good at that you can do very, very well, and what are the customers screaming for that they don't have, and is there a ground there? So what we did is we shaped this, and I want, when we get into the third hour, when we get back on that last 18-minute segment, what we've been telling people is you got to be hyper conservative and hyper aggressive.
Yes.
And the hyper conservative is hold what you can hold, figure out how much revenue you can keep coming in. And then hyper aggressive is you can't sit and wait for the dust to settle, because you won't be here more than likely.
Yeah, and see, the challenge right now is, if this was a recession where it's purely recessional based, then you can still conduct business as normal.
That's right.
We're dealing with constraints around physical contact, in-person meetings and education and all so you have to blend in what remote and virtual options do we have that also impact your way of doing business, along with people are also holding on to their money.
That's right.
And so when people hold on to their money, you have to figure out what's the most pressing problem that they're willing to spend. They're willing to still spend, but now they only want to spend on what necessities,
what we call pain points.
Yeah.
In other words, where's the pain? Because that's what you got to be selling to.
Yep.
You're going to alleviate the pain.
People buy to dodge, acquire, avoid something.
That's
that's the only that's it.
That's a good start. Okay, are you ready? And
No.
I'll hand it back to you.
No.
You're not. Why not?
Because I have to ask. We talked about get out of the box with your third quarter marketing ideas. Start now, get digital, and continue to modify. That's what we talked about, right? Because you're going to ask me that question.
No, I'm not going to ask you that question. You're going to ask Patrick that question.
No. You always ask me, well, what did we talk about at the top of the hour?
We'll come back and say, okay, quickly, Donna, before we get back.
That's what we talked about, right?
Right.
Okay.
And so I'll do my spiel in, and then you got it.
Whew.
And then we'll counterpunch, and then we'll close with just an open conversation. We'll have a break. We'll talk about, we'll close with an open conversation about it.
So now we're on the 10-minute one.
Yeah, it is now, if you are listening to the show, it is 10:33 in the morning.
Or
the hard break, 3-minute break has just come in. They gave the news. We're coming back. 3, 2, 1, and we're back. This is Sales 2020. The show, the only show you need if you're a business owner, independent contractor, or entrepreneur to get you more money, which means generating greater revenue because you've got more customers, better customers, and there are better margins. And in the studio with us is Patrick McFadden from Indispensable Marketing. But before we go there, let's talk about where we've been. So anybody that's just joining us right now on WNTW 92.7 FM, 820 AM, the voice of Central Virginia, we can tell you where we've been. So you can go to the website, 2020sales.solutions, 2020sales.solutions, and check out our show notes and podcast if you want to download the part of the show you missed. So, Donna, what did we cover in the first half hour?
We talked about some pretty fun ideas to get out of the box in the third quarter. There's some links up on the show notes that a whole slew of ideas. We just talked about July. We didn't even talk about August or September, but there are some pretty crazy ways that you could be marketing in the third quarter, and some ways to get your emails open, right? And we said start now. Don't wait. Don't wait. Just start doing something now to get those marketing ideas going for third quarter. Get digital. Patrick was saying that this everybody being online is going to continue. We're building habits. So if you're not digital in your business now, you want to be getting digital for that, and then continue to modify to meet the needs, as any business owner should.
Yeah, and if you think about it, most of the business owners I work with knew that they needed to do more online and kept going. Well, I don't have the time. We're doing this and that, and need to get to it. Well, what are you doing now?
Right.
You're sitting around playing tiddlywinks. You're sitting there doing nothing. This is a great time to get after the internal stuff that you should have been doing, and look at this as a gift. At least until you run out of money. So with that, let's get back to our expert.
Yeah. So
that's not me.
We have Patrick today.
I know.
Yeah. So Patrick, welcome back again.
Thank you.
Here we are. And I had another great question for you that I know our listeners are going to want to hear. What is the biggest marketing opportunities for third quarter and beyond at this point?
Or even maybe put in the second in there and kind of look at this more as, rather than 3 months, maybe look at it as 6 months starting today.
Yeah. My team and I have done something I think it's brilliant.
Okay, well, let's share it with us.
So you're going to want to listen right now.
We've been tracking trends of what clients and consumers, the public in a sense, is buying and thinking about during this time.
Mm-hmm.
And funny enough, it's things like estates, trust, and wills. That's booming right now.
Yeah.
We have clients that do that, and they're experiencing like a 200% increase.
Why is that?
Morality. People are thinking about
mortality. Okay,
yeah.
Got it.
Mortality. Yeah, people are thinking about what's going to happen if I pass away and what happens to my assets. And it's on everybody's mind because they're watching the news and all they see is the death toll go up. And is that me?
But that's marketing at its best, right?
Yeah.
Really?
There's a need. Also, a lot of people are, it's funny. Talked to a guy the other day, jacuzzi business booming because now people have to entertain at home.
Oh, I wouldn't have thought of that.
If you look on the road, when I drive to the grocery store, I look what vehicles are out. Tree services, still cutting down trees because those things fall.
Lawn maintenance.
Yep. So all you have to do is look out and to see what businesses are still in business, and it's fascinating to see.
I'm hearing a lot of the trades are still real busy.
Yeah, I have a friend that runs a landscaping company up in the northern part of Richmond, and they're humping. I mean, they're just going harder than they typically would be going this time of year.
Yeah, I mean, and then we also track things like for home service contractors, especially. A lot of people are looking at painting. They want to know how to paint themselves. So if you're a contractor that is producing educational information, being that resource, either two things are going to happen. You can show them how to paint, and they're going to say, "Screw this. It's too hard, too difficult. I don't. Let me hire the company."
Well, that just makes me think like Home Depot should be really getting their stuff out there if they're not.
Well, they do have a lot of tutorial videos that if you go to their website.
But they used to do classes. Where are they still doing?
But because of what's going on, I suspect that they suspended those. But let's pick up on that. You run a business where you could be doing tutorials and putting them on, let's say, YouTube, and you haven't done it. Why? You haven't had any time. Guess what?
Now you have time.
Right.
Now you have time, and
What's
the tutorials may sell something.
And what's not talked about a lot is that those are assets. Why? Because they work while you're asleep.
We had that conversation.
Man, I go to that church.
So what a lot of people don't understand is that you produce that video one time. Somebody could watch it at 1 a.m. Somebody could watch it at 1 p.m.
I told you like Patrick.
So it's an asset then. And it's an asset that if properly constructed, with the right call to action at the end, you could direct people to give you their email address or give you a call or ask for a painting consultation.
So you're saying to me, I could go to bed and then wake up in the morning and have $10,000 more in my bank account, theoretically.
Prospective, yes.
Yeah, than I did when I went to bed.
Yep.
And I didn't do anything.
Yep.
Only one time.
One time. You did it one time.
Anybody paying attention?
Now, I do. So I was just talking about this with a client the other day. Everybody gets excited about building the website, building the social media profiles, building. But I always say there's a two-step process for most digital assets: building it and getting it found. So
Right.
don't ignore how does this get found?
Because they build it and they will come is
Correct.
not, that doesn't
Field
happen.
of Dreams.
Yeah.
The only time that ever worked, and it was with Ghost.
Yeah, it's like an artist, right? You created the song, you think you're done. No, how does that song get found?
Right.
So it's the same process for business. You just have to have that kind of production mindset of, okay, we've produced it. Now, how does it get found? And you always ask, how does it get found? If you can't answer that question, no point in producing it.
Mm.
So we're going to ask you this question several times, but I'll ask you now. How do people get in touch with you? So this is a perfect time to say that.
They can get in touch by Googling indispensable marketing or typing indispensable marketing into their web browser. LinkedIn, type in Patrick McFadden. And those are the most preferred ways, I would say. And then on our website, you can subscribe to our email newsletter, which we send out once a month, that gives free advice that you probably want to listen to and read.
And McFadden, that's McFadden.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the Scottish MAC.
My name is Irish, Patrick McFadden.
Well, I thought so. Yeah, because if you were Scott, it would be MAC. That's the difference between, and you're probably Protestant Irish, because if you were Catholic, that would be O'Fadden.
He's a historian.
Well, no, I'm Irish.
We're taking you to new places today, folks.
So yeah, and so another thing is online, right? So we talked about having a digital, all those, but I call it an online presence, right? So it's really, how do you enlarge your digital footprint? Because some things are free. Claiming your business listing, being found in business directories are a lot of times free. Yes, Yelp will ask you to pay,
right?
But you should at least start with the free, because that's real estate.
Mm-hmm.
And if you understand real estate, you should understand I could claim this asset, and it enlarges my digital footprint.
And it helps me with my Google search.
Yep.
If you don't have a physical location that Google can track, it hurts where you stand on the page.
Yep.
But I find a lot of my, not just my clients, but I hear around that there's a lot of people that will create and are afraid to put it out there. They won't tell you that they're afraid to put it out there, but they don't really want to be seen. Right. So I think maybe sometimes that would be a great opportunity to hire somebody else and let them believe in you a little bit and get you out there.
Yep. Now I know some people are like, well, Patrick, I'm a service business. Yelp won't help me. Or in their business where Yelp, and it's true. So how do you find out where you need to be playing in a digital space? You go ask your clients, hey, where do you spend your time online? Like we consulted with this consulting firm that does pharmacy contract negotiations for universities, medical universities. And there was like, I don't hang out on LinkedIn. Their target audience hangs out on a site called Vizient.
Mm-hmm.
Vizient is a social network for all the pharmacy directors of medical universities in the United States. So we told them, go hang out on Vizient.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ignore the others.
Yeah.
And so that's how you figure it out. You got to go ask your customers, where are they spending their time and attention?
Going where they're not is not helpful.
No.
Unless you get some burning passion to be there. And then, socially, okay, as a person, but as a business owner, you don't have time.
Yep. And so another thing that I think is crucial right now is partnering with other businesses. So
yes,
if you think about just a restaurant, you weren't set up for the logistics of delivery. So you had to partner with Grubhub. And what that means is that your delivery model, right, of what you're doing still is kind of the same, but different in a way that you just have to partner for an aspect of your business. And that's okay. You have to look at what aspects of your business do you not want to fully specialize in, or you're not set up to execute on, and then pick partners who can fulfill the delivery of your service or product. Now, this is one thing that I know that people are ignoring. And I know this because of personal experience. When you're selecting that other partner, realize that they're still grading your product or services based off that partner's execution.
Because they're in under your brand.
Yes.
So you got to pick well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a good topic to get into when we come back from the break, because in some cases you could insource work from somebody else that they can't do. Maybe they pay you, or you could outsource some of the things that you're doing to somebody else with a partner. Now, are you going to get full boat on money? No, you're not. But if you're paying the rent and you're making payroll and you're staying around for another couple of weeks, right now maybe that's a great win. All right. So with that, you've been listening to Sales 2020, everything the business owner needs to know to own and run a business. How do you generate more revenue from better customers with higher margins? You listen to WNTW 92.7 FM, 820 AM, the voice of Central Virginia. And make sure you stop by our website at 2020sales.solutions. That's 2020sales.solutions.
Solutions.
And we will be right back.
So what's that little device does? It does the segments and
Just a phone.
oh, it's just a timer. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's a timer.
I thought it was stopping the segment, so you don't have to break it out.
No. What it tells me is I know where to look. And if I have, like, we had 10 minutes designated for this, we went 11. I have no problem getting that out because I use Audacity. You probably use that. So one of the things you can truncate silence and go, turn every 2 seconds into 1 second, and suddenly I've gone from 11 minutes to 10 minutes. It's when you got to find 5 minutes in a 10-minute segment
That's a
that
problem.
you're not going to find it, because if you truncate it too much, any silence gets cut off. So halfway through something, I won't even hear you.
Oh wow.
So it just makes it easier for me. I don't have to spend half a day processing the podcast. Eventually, we'll outsource this, but right now, we're putting all our money into all the other things we got going on.
Lean
Hey,
startup.
sweat equity is fine sometimes, at least because then you can't be fooled. It's like, no, I know how long that should take, and it's taking too long.
That's right. And video, we'll have to go get help on video because I'm teaching myself video, and I'm like, yeah, I really shouldn't do this. Audio, I've been doing for 5-6 years. I wouldn't sell my services, but I had a radio show at another station, so I've been processing my own.
Yeah, the radio voice is like being vocally gifted is amazing. It's crazy because I'm like, that guy can be an announcer at the ball game, and
You got a radio
Al
voice.
Michaels.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I just Sunday Night Football and
Oh,
it's,
Well, yeah, but there's a guy at part of the stations that make up the Chesapeake Potomac Broadcasting, which is this group of people here. This guy has got the radio voice. Well, you haven't met Al Green, who works for John Fredericks. Al is another one has got the radio voice. I mean, it is way I can get down there, but I got to work it.
yeah, you have it. That's it.
Yeah. So as I've been told, I have a face. I have a face for radio.
Yeah. So, Bill, all it says is the how. That's what's your section up next.
Right. So here's what we're going to do. What I'm going to present to you is here's what we're going to be doing on tomorrow night in Meetup. We're going to be doing it on Zoom, but I'm going to say Meetup, and we're going to propose.
We should say Zoom, though, shouldn't we?
You say our meetup group is meeting on Zoom.
Yeah, our meetup group is meeting on Zoom.
There you go.
And we're going to pose 3 questions. We're going to pose 3 questions. And it's brainstorming. One is, what are you good at? What are the things that you're really good at? Your kind of the process things you're going. And so we want to brainstorm a list on that. Number 2 is, what pain points your customers having that are not being met right now?
Mm-hmm.
And then number 3 is, what could you do based upon what you're good at to take care of the pain points?
Yep.
And so I'm going to start off by the statement of hyper conservative, hyper aggressive, and we just have a free for all, and we've got 18 minutes, 17 minutes to have a conversation, and please push your business.
Okay.
Okay, you're
this
on
is a
here.
Sales show.
Yeah.
This is a sales show.
Okay. I push through education, so it'll
however you're comfortable.
And I'll got you.
Okay, but you're here. You've donated time.
Yeah.
You're here at the station, and you need to push your business. Yeah, that's
I'm
part of the deal here.
The marketer, get out. Market.
All right, what are we? 249. Okay, just about right. Okay, you ready?
Yes.
3, 2, 1. And we're back. You're listening to Sales 2020, everything a business owner, independent contractor, entrepreneur needs to know to generate more and better revenue. And what does that mean? More customers that are better customers because you have higher margins. You can hear us every Saturday and Sunday. Saturdays at 10 a.m. for 1 hour. Sundays at 4 p.m. for an hour on WNTW 92.7 FM, 820 a.m. And we are the voice of Central Virginia. So we're finishing up our last segment today. We got Patrick McFadden from Indispensable Marketing in the studio. And what he's been doing is we've been going back and forth and sharing some different approaches. So this last segment is all going to be about things that you can do. Okay. We talked about what it is. We talked about why. Now we're
Now
going to
it's
talk
time to
about
get
how.
busy. Roll up your sleeves and let's get busy.
In fact, Donna and I are doing this tomorrow night.
Yes, on Meetup. No, on Zoom. It's our Meetup group on Zoom. So inside joke there. But 7 p.m. we're going to be talking to business owners and independent professionals who are wanting to get unstuck, who are wanting to move forward, who are wanting to get some creative juices flowing and ideas.
Okay. And I'll have that link there. So if you're interested in joining us on Zoom, we'd be more than happy
Yes.
to have you. Okay. And so last week we started this off, and what we did is we put out two propositions to the people on. One was you got to be hyper conservative right now, and the other one is you got to be hyper aggressive. So the hyper conservative had to do with whatever revenue you can hold it. Whatever cost you can cut without hurting the business, cut it. Get yourself down to the essence of the business. By the way, maybe this is something to consider when this is over. This is what the new business looks like. But that's not going to save you. All that's going to do is keep you in the game a bit longer. So you got to get hyper aggressive. And hyper aggressive has to do with answering three questions that we're going to be doing right now. Question number one. And if you heard the last segment, Patrick talked about these questions and we didn't talk about it. So that guess that means we're right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, we're pretty much about to give them a process.
That's right. So number one is,
write it down.
Number one is what in business consulting speak, we would say, what's the core competence of your business? And what does that mean? So what the hell, what do you do well? What are the things you do well? You know, you've got good processes. You know, you're great at logistics. You're great at finance. Regardless of what you do, there are things that your business has embedded competencies that are very good at. What are they? You need to make an inventory of that list. Number two is with the clients that you have or with other clients that you could have, what are the pain points? What are they not having done for them that they really need right now? And then the third one would be, and it's the obvious question, how do I match the two up? Because it could be that something that we don't do that we could do that people would pay for. Bingo. And suddenly it's the end of May. We're out of this and you're still there. In fact, you're doing better. So let's start there. And that's the hyper aggressive strategy. So if I'm a business owner and I'm going to do an inventory of my business, Patrick, how would I come up with, here are the things that we're really good at?
You know, I'm a big fan of starting with your best clients and interviewing them so you can hear it from their mouth. I always say you want to get as close to the truth as possible, and the truth is your customers. And so I would set up some type of interview of sorts to ask them, you know, why did you hire us? What do we do that others don't? How could we improve the experience for you? Do you refer us? If so, what would you say? And in this current market, how would you go about looking for a service like ours? What would you Google
That's a great question. Yeah.
What would you Google to find services like ours? Or what information would you look for? And then allow that to guide your tactical implementation of what the tactics you need to do to deploy to get more of those best clients so you can keep your profitability.
Okay. And then I would probably add to that is, now, if it's just you and your company, then obviously this probably question won't go too far. But if you got people working for you, ask them, what else do we do well that we could sell that we haven't? And more than likely, your employees have said, you know, we could sell that. But for whatever reason, didn't say it.
Just you saying to your employees, you had said that. I had just seen too, I'm segueing a little bit, but also talk to your employees.
Yep, that's another base. They're really your customers too. You have to satisfy them.
Yeah, because they have a lot of business owners I don't think talk to their employees as much as they should, and there's a valuable insight you can get there.
Yeah, in fact, you had to put out the community of who you should talk to. It's customers, employees, front-facing people who interact with customers. And then strategic partners, those who refer you, and why do they?
Yeah, and your friends and family, probably not your strategic partners.
Nah. Nah, if
Let's keep it real.
But those are all really good questions. And I was thinking that I would also, if I've got a good working relationship with a bank,
yeah,
I'd talk to the bank, because the bank, I guarantee you that whoever the person is managing your account is probably got a lot of people right now talking to them about something.
so you bring up a great point. I was thinking about this earlier. I said, if you're a home service contractor and you're not looking to partner right now, you're missing the boat. Because
You are so polite and kind. I would say look in the mirror and take off the dunce hat.
because we just talked about how there are some contractors that are being hired going into homes. They have earned the trust to go across those front doors.
Mm.
Well, if you're not partnering with them to have them help you promote your company to these homeowners at the same time that they're in there, you're missing the boat then, because you should be able to have either gift certificates or offers or something. Maybe it's the email newsletter. Maybe we talked about that, right?
Right.
So maybe you say, hey, can you promote me to your audience
Yeah.
base through your newsletter? And then so they hear you through the newsletter, bam. Then you give them a drop-off material, bam. Then they go to your Facebook, or if you show up on the search engines, so now they've got 3 times that they've seen, heard, or either touched your company.
And I'm seeing a lot
Yeah.
more of these when you talk about the strategic partnerships. I'm seeing some really good ones where they're actually coming up with the flyer that you need the HVAC and it's this guy, or you need the electrician and it's this one. And so it's right down the list of who you need, already vetted. You
Yep.
know, like, and trust me. Now you've got this whole network, and we're going to go market and promote each other.
That's right, because right now the networking groups are not meeting, but you can't. You could absolutely have the same mentality when you're looking at delivery, because a lot of those people are not your competitors, but it's kind of a total offer.
Yes.
And one of the things that made networking groups work, if you got 20 people in your group, you got 19
and
people
it's
who are
instant
advertising for you.
testimonial. The instant testimonial is right
Yep.
there, and you look like a bigger organization. You might be a small organization, but because now you've got
It's
more
true.
people partnering with you, you've just become more of a department store, if you will.
Now I'm going to give a tip that takes this to the premier level, which is
Oh, this
All
would
right.
cost a lot of money if you
Write
were
it
talking to
down.
Patrick on
Write
your
it
own.
down.
so. I actually believe something that most small businesses ignore is naming their processes. So let's say you did come up with the list of providers that would be great to call on. Call it something. Your ELPs, I've heard of that. Your endorsed local providers, or your vetted providers. If you can give things a name, people associate more professionalism, a process associated. I speak about this all the time. I remember speaking to the dental association, and I said, what if, I'm just making this up, every insurance company, auto, forgave you on the first accident, right? But Allstate gave it a name, accident forgiveness. And what would happen? You would call Geico and say, hey, why are you switching? Well, they have accident forgiveness. We do the same thing, but they give it a name.
That's right.
It's right. So giving things a name allows you to be more professional.
It's memorable.
Yep. And it travels as a referral tool. And so I'm a big fan on naming your 10-point never leave your yard dirty process, or we vet our strategic partners to never XYZ. Give things a name.
I did a lot of work in manufacturing and lean manufacturing, and Toyota made a living at this because we called it Toyota Manufacturing System. And they sold this to all of the auto industry in the U.S., and it was nothing more than American quality that they did and gave it a name. So they didn't even develop it. So the Toyota production system, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in my example with the dentist, I said, before you operate on somebody's mouth, do surgery, how many of you make sure they're numb? All hands went up. I said, well, who gives it a name? What do you mean? Comfort Care, or
Yeah, wow.
It was like, oh, wait a minute. So you're telling me to make sure you're comfortable before we operate? Yeah. So whoever gives it a name, even though all of you raised your hand saying I do Novocaine, but nobody gave it a name to differentiate and said, my dentist gives me Comfort Care. What's that? It's when they make sure I'm comfortable before we start well, my dentist doesn't do that.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
And this is where you got to get hyper aggressive and creative and come up with this because you're smart enough to figure this out.
Mhm.
We did this with a landscape company, and what they were doing was trying to separate themselves from everybody else. So what they called it was living without walls.
Mm,
How do you integrate the inside of the house with the outside of the house?
I like that.
How about that?
It made them a lot of money.
Well, and the beauty about that is, first, so one thing that people do get wrong with differentiation is they feel like they're saying something that's different that automatically should get somebody to hop up and skip and pay them. Well, there's one thing that most people don't say is that the differentiation that you're promoting needs to be valued by that person.
Oh yeah.
So you can say you're different because of XYZ or because you show up on time. But what if I'm the person that values my yard being clean, not you showing up on time? Then you're not the contractor for me. I need to go find the people who value on time contractors, not the one who clean up the mess before they leave.
Mm.
So, and it's okay, right?
Yeah.
You get to solve how you want to solve your problem. I'm for the people who want on-time contractors. Well, I'm for the people who want the cleanup before you leave.
And there's enough
contractors.
business out there for everybody.
There's enough people with different personalities.
Right?
Oh, yeah. So that gets us to the second question. Okay, so what you've done here is we've come up with some ideas that you can put into play to figure out what else you could do. Now, how do I figure out where the customer is at, where are the pain points? One of the things that you did a great job of is by just observation, who's out and about and what's selling.
Mm-hmm.
What else could I do to say, where are those pain points?
I think, as you mentioned it, talk to your bankers. I think getting out and talking to people is the best way to figure out that, and your own base, your customers, your employees, your partners, everybody that makes up the community for your business, your bankers, your suppliers. I think you have to get out and talk and uncover those pain points. And that's the only way you're going to do it, is to get out there. And
the phones aren't quarantined.
That's true. The phones are not quarantined.
So getting out could be picking up the phone.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, Patrick, what do you think of the idea of, for example, YouTube does YouTube Trends and tells you what are the videos that people are currently looking for? Do you think I might be able to draw something from that? I may see something, we're in that business, or we could do that.
I think that's one research tool. I believe, especially it's called SEO, search engine optimization. You have to vet your keywords and trends through tools, one being the Google Keyword Planner.
Right.
So you can come up with all the terms and trends, but you want to make sure.
But nobody's searching it. Yeah,
correct.
That doesn't do you any good.
Correct. And a trend may be for the moment, but you may be able to find something that's long-term. And so we always recommend, and we do this at our business, at our marketing firm, where we vet those keywords through Google Keyword Planner. And most people don't know this. They give you the search volume.
Oh, yeah.
They'll say 1,000 to 10,000 people search this over 12 months, every single month. And you're like, what? This exact phrase?
Yep.
Yes, it's the money phrase.
And that's why that if you buy that word, that costs you more money.
Correct. Yep. So the cost per click. So depending on that word, and it's true, the higher the value, the higher the value of the word means it's probably more commercial. And we call it commercial intent, where somebody's really looking. If they're looking to say IT consulting service, they're probably looking for a service, which means that's why it's cost more, rather than just saying IT consulting. Because you don't know what that can mean research from a college student, but when you're looking for a service or a company, those words cost more because the commercial intent is higher for somebody to buy.
And by the way, if you people trying to figure out how Google makes its money, we're having that conversation right now.
Yeah.
How about Google? How about Google Trends? Because you can also get Google to give you what are the common search trends right now, so you can look for something that perhaps in your first question, what could we do? You're going, we could do that.
We've actually used Google Trends to launch products for contractors. We're thinking about a new type of product for their industry, and it's like not a lot of people search for that, so we dismantled it. Or in working with a landscaping company, we figured out when most people actually search for a landscaping company or get into ideas to touch their front yard or backyard, and we were able to then pinpoint when to start the pay-per-click advertising. So it's data informs decisions. The more data you have, the more clear and confident you feel.
Data informs decisions.
100%.
That's a great
Now,
quote.
if you get bad data, you get making a bad decision.
That's right. That's right. Okay, so we hit the two questions. So let's get the third one. Okay, so I've done both of that. What recommendation if they hired you to help them now on this third one? Let's say they were able to do the first two themselves, and now they're looking at potentially what they can do and what's going on out there in the world today. How would you help them match those two things up?
So what we do, we believe in consistent marketing done every single month, in some way, shape, or form. So we would actually sit down, map out calendars, map out what's going to happen day to day, what's going to be reviewed, and we get into the day to day activities of okay, we're going to produce once or twice a month an expert type of article. We're going to then distribute that article through Facebook, LinkedIn, and wherever else we need to. Then we would look at, okay, what keywords do our customers type in to be found? We would then optimize or add those keywords to the website so to make sure you show up. We then would monitor those keywords to make sure they don't change because customers, right? The thing about it is customers.
Things happen.
Yeah.
We're seeing that right now.
So,
Well, when this goes away, we don't know what's going to hang, what's going to stay, and what's going to change.
Mhm.
Yep.
And so staying on top of this weekly, we had that meeting this morning where we're talking about our own statistics.
Mhm.
Yep. And then communication, right? So if you're in a business right now and you're adding new services, how are you educating your customers about that? So re-educating customers, we like to use newsletters or email campaigns or Facebook, whatever the tools we can to educate customers on now we have this type of service offering. So we believe in doing things monthly to maintain the marketing visibility that makes the phone ring.
Okay. And especially now because we know everybody's on. And so the question really becomes is how do I cut through all the noise? Because the noise is probably doubled or tripled.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
So how do I get them to hear the signal, not the background white noise?
So we believe that people buy anything to solve a problem. That's it.
Because they're going to be searching for the solution. So
yeah, well,
as long as you show up as the solution,
you should show up for the problem. Let me tell you why.
Okay.
If my computers are slow, I may not know I need IT consulting.
There you go.
I just may know that my computers are slow. So I type in computers are slow. What can I do? So if you produce content on how computers are slow because of X, Y, and Z, I may say, oh, wow. So and then it says IT can solve this problem. You then connect the problem with the solution. Because I'm never going to know as much about IT as you. But I just know my problem.
Right.
My problem is I have a headache.
So it's always about the problem.
We wear shoes so we don't get blisters. We eat so we won't starve.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't wear glasses unless it gives me better vision.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything we buy is to solve a problem.
That's right.
If you're buying a red Lamborghini, you're buying it for the look that somebody gives you. You want that look.
That's a lifestyle buy.
Absolutely.
Well, you hit what the motto of the show is: attract the willing, solve their problems.
I love it.
And that's really what we're about because we say there are people out there who want to buy what you have. They just don't know about you.
Yep.
And how do you get them to buy if they don't even know who you are?
That's true. A fascinating one I have to bring this up is Nike. Let me tell you why. If you notice, most people who wear Nikes from age zero, right, all the way to age 90, wear Nikes because they feel like they're always in style. Think about it. I'm buying Nikes. Why? Because I feel like I'm in rhythm. Right. So they're buying it to solve the being up in culture.
Yeah. It's a lifestyle buy.
Yep.
Just do it.
Okay. So as we close out the show, how do people get a hold of you again? Now, by the way, I'll have the links up, but I want people to hear it from you.
Yep. You can type indispensablemarketing.com into Google, or they can search Patrick McFadden Marketing. They can find a link, find me on LinkedIn, type in Patrick McFadden. And if you want to go to Instagram, it's Patrick McFadden. Oh no, P McFadden 7.
Okay. Thank you for being in the studio. Thanks for a great show.
And I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Donna, any closing thoughts?
Just don't wait for the dust to settle. That is my theme for the week. Do not wait for the dust to settle. Now is the time for action.
If you wait for it to settle, you'll be the dust. Okay. So if you listen to us on Facebook, podcast will be up tomorrow. If you listen to us on Saturday and Sunday, the podcast and the show notes will be there. So you've been listening to Sales 2020. Our website is 2020sales.solutions. That's 2020sales.solutions. Brought to you every Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday on WNTW 92.7 FM, 820 AM. And this is William Eastman. I'm out.
Bye.
Got it.